11 bizarre things you didn't know about ancient Egypt. Ancient Egyptians are known to be very bright and inventive people. The land of the pharaohs is famous for its huge pyramids and its golden treasures. But how much do you know about ancient Egypt? Was the Great Pyramid built by slaves? Today, we revealed the most bizarre things you didn't know about ancient Egypt. King Tut was killed by a hippopotamus. Surprisingly little is known about the life of the boy pharaoh, Tutankhamun, but some historians believe they know how he died. Scans of the young king's body show that he was embalmed without his heart or his chest wall. This drastic departure from traditional Egyptian burial practice suggests that he may have suffered a horrific injury before his death. According to a handful of Egyptologists, one of the most likely causes for this wound would have been a bite from a hippopotamus. Evidence indicates that the Egyptians hunted the beast for sport, and statues found in King Tut's tomb even depict him in the act of throwing a harpoon. If the boy pharaoh was indeed fond of stalking dangerous games, then his death might have been the result of a hunt gone wrong. Egyptian doctors. An ancient physician was usually a jack of all trades, but evidence shows that Egyptian doctors sometimes focused on healing only one part of the human body. This early form of medical specialization was first noted in 450 BC by the traveler and historian Herodotus. Discussing Egyptian medicine, he wrote, "Each physician is a healer of one disease and no more, some of the eye, some of the teeth, some of what pertains to the belly." These specialists even had specific names. Dentists were known as doctors of the tooth, while the term for proctologist translates to shepherd of the anus. Both sexes wore makeup. Vanity is as old as civilization, and the ancient Egyptians were no exception. Both men and women were known to wear copious amounts of makeup, which they believed gave them the protection of the gods, Horus and Ra. These cosmetics were made by grinding ores, like malachite and galena, into a substance called kohl. It was then liberally applied around the eyes with utensils made out of wood, bone, and ivory. Women would also stain their cheeks with red paint and use henna to color their hands and fingernails. And both sexes wore perfumes made from oil, myrrh, and cinnamon. The Egyptians believed their makeup had magical healing powers. And they weren't entirely wrong. Research has shown that the lead-based cosmetics worn along the Nile helped stave off eye infections. Pyramids were not built by slaves. The life of a pyramid builder certainly wasn't easy. Skeletons of workers commonly show signs of arthritis and other ailments, but evidence suggests that the massive tombs were built not by slaves, but by paid laborers. These ancient construction workers were a mix of skilled artisans and temporary hands, and some appear to have taken great pride in their craft. Graffiti found near the monuments suggests they often assigned humorous names to their crews, like the Drunkards of Menkaure or the Friends of Khufu. The idea that slaves built the pyramids at the crack of a whip was first conjured by the Greek historian Herodotus in the 5th century BC, but most historians now dismiss it as a myth. While the ancient Egyptians were certainly not averse to keeping slaves, they appear to have mostly used them as field hands and domestic servants. Cleopatra was not Egyptian. Along with King Tut, perhaps no figure is more famously associated with ancient Egypt than Cleopatra VII. But while she was born in Alexandria, Cleopatra was part of a long line of Greek Macedonians originally descended from Ptolemy I, one of Alexander the Great's most trusted lieutenants. The Ptolemaic dynasty ruled Egypt from 323 to 30 BC, and most of its leaders remained largely Greek in their culture and sensibilities. Cleopatra was famous for being one of the first members of the Ptolemaic dynasty to speak the Egyptian language. Egyptian women had a wide range of rights and freedoms. While they may have been publicly and socially viewed as inferior to men, Egyptian women enjoyed a great deal of legal and financial independence. Egyptian women did not typically work outside the home, but those who did usually received equal pay for doing the same jobs as men. Egyptian couples were even known to negotiate an ancient prenuptial agreement. These contracts listed all the property and wealth the woman had brought into the marriage and guaranteed that she would be compensated for it in the event of a divorce. We hope you enjoyed another episode of History Bazaar. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the fastest growing history channel on YouTube.